Welcome to the channel, Gaming Army. Have I got a treat coming your way today? 2 drops headed straight at you, and both drops feature our Black Knight. In fact, it's the Black Knight 6B, and I have it outfitted with 4 ER large lasers, 5 ER small lasers, and our top speed is 71.3 kph. Now, our first drop is a domination match on Caustic Valley, and as usual on Caustic Valley, sight lines can be a bit difficult because of all the sulfuric smoke that's pluming into the air. So when you get into these situations, it's important to know a couple of quick keys. Number 1 is the H key. That activates your heat vision, which you're seeing now. It does help cut through the smoke. More importantly is if you lock onto a mech, you can see the heat differentiation and that nice black silhouette, and it helps with your aiming. Another key that you can try is the N key. That activates your night vision. It's primarily used in low light situations, not necessarily going to cut through a lot of this smoke that you're seeing in front of you, but try both the H key, the N key, see which one gives you better resolution and allows you to see the enemy the best, and then just kind of go with it. So H key and N key. And if you get lost on any of this, for some of you that are newer to the game, always remember F1 is your friend. F1 key brings up a map of the keyboard hotkeys, and you can always refer to that until it becomes second nature as to which buttons do what. So far in this match, we've managed to leverage the superior range of our ER large lasers, engaging multiple enemy targets at range. And I have my weapons broken up into 3 separate firing groups. 1 and 2 are going to be my ER large lasers left and right, and I have it set up that way so that I can minimize the amount of ghost heat that I'm going to generate by firing all 4 of them at the same time. So just separating a millisecond on the groups helps negate that. The other thing that's helping us out is that night vision. Switching out of it, you can see what the difference is between non-night vision and night vision. You can still kind of see some of the enemies across the way, but that smoke is really obscuring a lot of direct line of sight, and it's better under the night vision. But I know everybody's going to complain that they don't like seeing a black and white video, so we're going to see what we can do with just regular optics on this map. Looks like the enemy is playing fairly passive as well, and this is where I notice my team has continued to slowly rotate slightly right. I'm going to reposition so that I don't get left behind or fall out of touch with the main force of my friendlies. And looking up on the hilltop, there is an enemy, thinking he's going to be all sneaky beaky, but no, we see him and light him up as well. Let's see if he peeks again. Maybe. We're just going to play it slow. That seems to be the pace. There is a enemy UAV out there in the distance. We're not going to engage it. Okay, I wanted to engage it. I'm just not good enough at getting that little tiny dot centered to be able to get a good shot on it. Moving forward, I'm trying to get to my next piece of cover, and that's when I noticed that our friendly stalker is right there. He was kind of hard to spot with these low visibility conditions. I don't want to get into the same piece of cover that he is. I'm going to push forward. Guys, this is really important. If you get into the same piece of cover, the two of you are just going to wind up tripping over each other as you try to get angles on enemy targets, or worse still, somebody's going to step out into the open and not be able to back into cover quickly enough, and they're going to eat a lot of damage. So just be aware of where your friendlies are on the battlefield. Now, I'm not going to lie, all of this smoke is starting to get to me. I'm feeling a bit giddy, which is strange because we're supposed to have filtration systems in our cockpits to handle situations like this, but I'm feeling rather strange. And that's when an enemy spider comes into view, And what better thing to do to a spider than to try and pull his legs off? The damage we did means that when he landed, he actually legged himself. And now look at him just kind of limping along, free for the taking. But as we do the technical shutdown, one of my teammates is able to scoop up the kill. That's okay because there are still so many enemy targets left on the board. We're going to dive down into cover, reevaluate things. As we see Direwolf, get some shots on him. He's returning some fire with those large pulses. And I am stuck with the Blood Asp, so I want to reposition yet again. The two of us are just going to trip on each other if I don't. And I want to be a little more aggressive, pushing into the enemies at this point. Score is 4-2. We're up by 2 kills, and I want to capitalize on our strengths at the moment. Swinging back towards the 5 line where the enemy is located, I can't help but think about that spider and how much fun it was to pull his legs off. It makes me think about pulling wings off flies, and wings are on the sides of flies, and they're kind of like sides on this Marauder. I can't help but take the left, and then we take the center, killing the Marauder, and now we found a Fafnir as well. Let's get some shots on him because he has taken out a teammate. We've managed to open up his center torso. Actually, he's opened all torsos. That's why he dove into cover, and we get the angle now to get some more shots on him. One of our teammates picks up the kill on the Fafnir, but we did do a bit of contribution to his pain and suffering. Coming around the far side, there was a light over here. I don't see him, although there is a smoking ruin that I just passed, and I'm wondering if my teammates in Gulf 4 took him out of the equation. Must be. There is another enemy UAV. This time we're going to focus this one down. Can't have whatever's shooting missiles over there using that UAV for targeting purposes. I can't see what it is. Switching over to heat vision, now I can clearly see what it is. There is an enemy Highlander, and he is open center torso. Duck into cover real quick so that he can't get a lock on me, and then I'm going to go back in for more, but he's behind the rock, and a teammate manages to take him out before I'm in position. Pushing forward yet again, we're looking for our next victim when along comes, I think that is a Direwolf. Got an alpha out on him. Teammate picks up the kill again, but here's a Timberwolf. Well, let's pull the wings off of this fly, and we managed to rack up our second kill of the drop. Now I'm taking some fire from, I think, behind me somewhere. I dive into cover, come back around, let's see if I can get eyes on whatever was shooting at me. I'm not quite sure where he is, so it looks like the hunt is on, and he is the last remaining enemy unit. There he is, up on the hillside, but we're going to run out the cap clock before anyone takes out this final unit. Switching over to our end screen on this one, we wind up with 2 kills, 9 assists, 567 damage done. Moving on to our next drop, I'm still feeling a bit strange after all of that sulfur smoke inhalation on the last drop, but we're going to shoulder on as we get into a skirmish match here on Grim Plexus. The enemy is coming up through the hotel line, and that allows me to use the hill for cover, allowing me to minimize the amount of return fire that I'm going to take from the enemy team. Now, watching what they were doing on the map, it looks like they're coming up the hotel line, which is fairly standard, and it would be a shame if we didn't start rotating over towards the Gulf hotel lines to be here to greet them when they arrive. And as we get into position, I want to throw something out to you, hopefully between this video and one of the earlier videos where we did a review of the Grasshopper. You can see the differences between these two mechs. There are a lot of comparisons out there because they are in the same weight class, but what they bring to the table are completely different. In my opinion, the Grasshopper is the superior range sniper type build, and that's because of those high weapon mounts. The Black Knight, on the other hand, seems to be a bit more rugged and is a much better brawler compared to the Grasshopper. Hopefully these two drops demonstrate that and hammer that point home for you, you can see that I have to expose quite a bit of my mech, and that's because the bulk of my weapon's firepower is spread across that center line at waist height. I don't have high weapons mounts that are more ideal for peeking and poking the vertical game. So keep that in mind if you're having to choose between the two mechs. What is it that you're planning to do with the mech on the battlefield? And if it is long range, I would say go with the Grasshopper. If you're looking for a great laser vomit build, go with the Black Knight if you're planning to do a lot of brawling. I don't say that there's a big difference between the two mechs on paper, but that Black Knight just feels so much more rugged than a Grasshopper in brawling situations. If these tips have been helpful to you and you're enjoying the content so far, why not hit the like and subscribe buttons? Make sure you turn on that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future content like this coming your way. And guys, I really do appreciate how much everyone is helping the channel grow. The whole goal when I started this was to get good information and hopefully entertaining information out to new mech pilots and potential would-be mech pilots so that we can grow our numbers and keep the game going. Jumping back into the action on this drop, we can get back to the business of pulling side torsos off of enemy mechs. They indeed continued their push up the hotel line. My teammates swung over to Gulf 8, and this is where we're making our stand. Now we're in a really good position to be able to focus enemy units as they approach, and we're second line with lots of cover. This is a great position to be in as we focus anyone brave or foolish enough to peek the top of the hill at Gulf 8 like, I don't know, a Warhammer. I don't know what he is thinking, but he's going to come back for more, so we'll just continue to keep lighting him up, stay focused on him, take that torso off of him, and he's open CT as well. We stay focused on him and get the kill. The enemy appears to be much less motivated in peeking that hilltop at Gulf 8. In fact, it looks like they may be pulling back slightly from their original positions, and that allows us to extend and move forward. Still a couple of hanger-ons at the party, including that assault mech up on the top ground and a little Kit Fox scrambling for cover in the distance. Let's just add a little pain and misery to his situation. And there's somebody who still hasn't gotten the memo that they need to move on. Try to get some shots back, but we're blocked by invisible walls, and that's something you have to kind of just deal with. It comes with the territory of the game. Here comes a Roughneck, and he's open right torso. A couple of those lasers did make it past the invisible barrier. Does a little bit of damage, and he pulls back as well. This is freeing us up to move forward, and my team is being aggressive, pushing towards Gulf 7. We'll help ourselves to the enemy UAV so they don't have eyes. And if the enemy is falling back into Gulf 7, that means they are going to rotate in a different direction. They're going to want to take the path of least resistance, which means they're going to counter-rotate into the Fox line. In fact, there are some enemy units starting to show up over there now. So that means I'm going to reposition across to the Fox line and support my teammates on the right flank. And this is when the enemy Kit Fox does his best impersonation of a clay pigeon. He's stuck there in the low ground, getting focused by multiple teammates. He does manage to get a kill, but we're just picking him apart piece by piece until we finally get the kill. That's number 2 for the match. And it looks like the enemy is definitely in Fox 7, Fox 8-ish. We're going to push forward and find Mr. Hellbringer. Can't have you on the board. We managed to do some good damage to him. I notice his left torso is open as well, pushing in to apply some pressure when a teammate scoops up the kill, and down goes the Hellbringer. That leaves last man standing, the Arctic Wolf, way out in Never Never Land, and we're going to pull his legs off as best as possible. keep going on the legs on those lights, because then it makes them immobile and an easy target. The end screen on this one explains why I've been feeling so weird over the last 2 drops, because my transformation is complete. We wind up with 2 kills, 10 assists, 666 damage done.